Blueprints is going to go down as one of the most talked about puzzle games in some time. It's also going to be one of the more polarizing ones, and this review is certainly going to be truth in that, as I consider it's going to be one of the best mysteries I've seen wrapped up in one of the worst video games I've played. Before we get going, this will be a spoiler-free review of Blueprints. I will not be showing or talking about any solutions to any of the major puzzles. The footage you're going to be seeing will be mostly B-roll that we did on stream. Our story is that we are trying to find the 46th room in a 45-room mansion in order to earn our inheritance. And if you think that is the most mind-breaking sentence, it gets far more than that. The quote-unquote simplest way to describe this game is a puzzle roguelite. Each in-game day, you'll be going into the mansion and crafting the layout of it room by room. When you go up to a door, you'll be able to choose from 3 different rooms that you can draft that will take up that space. Each room belongs to kind of a different style or type, such as bedroom, shop, kind of hallways, and so on. And each room has a fixed kind of orientation in terms of doors. Some rooms are just a one-way, such as a bedroom or a shop. Other rooms may have up to 3 or 4 doors. This is important as rooms must be connected door by door, or you will not be able to proceed. The structure of the mansion is that every time you go north, you advance a rank. As you go higher in rank, the rooms become quote-unquote harder. And what that means is you'll start to run the doors that require either a key to open them or a key card to pass by an electronic lock. Now at this point, I can't tell for sure if rank affects rarity. Each room has a kind of rank value associated to it by default. So the rarer the room, the less likely it's going to spawn. Now, rooms can only spawn or only be chosen one time per day. There is a room that gets around that limitation. So part of the balance and the trickiness of this game is laying things out in a way that not only allows you to keep progressing, but also knowing when to kind of use dead rooms or dead end rooms in order to get them out of your possible deck, because you don't want them to show up when you're, up to like rank 7 or 8, and you need those extra corridors or those extra doors in order to keep going. Now, you are limited in terms of 3 resources: gold, gems, and keys. We already talked about keys. Gems are kind of your currency to activate special rooms, while coins can be used in the various shops and other services for additional things that can help you. There are randomly placed items that can change the properties of aspects or provide you with a unique advantage, such as a sledgehammer lets you break open treasure chests, shovel to dig up any kind of dirt mounds, and so on and so forth. Now, on top of that, you have an energy limit. Every time you walk into a room, you lose 1 energy by default. Run out of energy and the run is over. So there's already a lot going on in this game, and we're not even like 4 minutes into me talking about it. So on top of all that, there is an extensive amount of puzzles, both small and very large, to solve in this game. A big aspect are the meta puzzles that you will have to A big aspect of this game are the meta puzzles. While some rooms will have kind of like a local puzzle for you to solve, sometimes for bonus resources, there are larger puzzles that require you to find clues scattered around the different rooms, being very observant about where things are, and trying to figure out what you need to do. Some of these will come in the reward of permanent upgrades that will persist across run by run, while others may be required if you're going for the actual ending of this game. And again, we're not going to be spoiling anything like that here. And it is a very in-depth game. Like, this is high-level puzzle solving. From the kind of critical thinking or logic-based puzzles in individual rooms, to just trying to piece together what the puzzle is on top of the clues. In some aspect, there are some shades of La Mulana here, that you will get the clue in one room to hint at something in a completely other room to maybe give you sort of the solution to a completely different room. And yet it only gets more mind-bendy from there. And if you're trying to get everything in this game, as another comparison, if you are someone who loved the meta puzzles of, say, Tunic, or the kind of rabbit holeness of Void Stranger, and you haven't played Blueprints yet, you can just stop listening or watching this review and go play this game because you're going to love it. But as I said in the stinger, while the mystery aspect of this game is really well done, my issue is with the design or the actual gameplay itself. And this is where we're going to be spending the bulk of this review. The problem that Blueprints has is that it's trying to be two different games at once. It wants to be a puzzle game, and it also wants to be a roguelite/roguelike as well. The problem is that both of those aspects clash with the inherent nature or the base level of this game. If we talk about this from a puzzle standpoint, as I said a few minutes ago, the puzzle design is built around you finding scattered clues. And the game uses a lot of different logics. So it's not just about, okay, understand, okay, red means X or green means Y, but that there's different fundamental lessons you have to understand if you want to make sense out of these puzzles. And much like with Tunic, if you're not getting what the logic is behind a certain puzzle type, you're done. Like, you will not be able to solve it. There are no further hints in that respect, and I definitely had to look up a few solutions. And even getting hints from like online sites, I still didn't understand like what the heck you were supposed to do in order to solve this puzzle. Now, with the roguelike and roguelite nature, this is where things get very muddy and again very polarizing. This is a game built on RNG, and as the player, you are not given a lot of means or a lot of ways of pulling these levers to control things, despite the fact that you are quite literally building this mansion one room at a time. The problem is that if you are going for the win, or the win condition, you need very specific events to happen. And not only do they need to happen, but they need to happen in the correct places on the floor plan. And not only that, but you need enough resources to spawn in order to get them, to then get the doors, and hopefully everything lines up. It is a game that is completely out of control in terms of what your input actually matters. Because again, you're only able to view a room or a future prospect of a room through 3 different drafts at a time. So again, you'll have that situation where I'll set up a draft in one area and it just completely dead ends. Well, I'll go another way, I get another dead end. And then you'll go a third way and you are completely dead end on rank 2. And it can feel like the game is not giving you any means of progression, that there's no sense that you as the player are growing in terms of how you play this game. Now, the puzzle design and the puzzle logic, that is its own separate entity in this respect. But given the RNG nature that's at play here, you can feel like I place a bunch of rooms down and we get all the way to rank 9, almost to the end. Or I place a bunch of rooms down and I just end up dead-ending myself or running out of resources and there's nothing more to do. And this is again compounded by the fact that certain rooms basically require certain things to happen. So you'll have someone, I'm sure a few of you will probably be typing this down below saying, well, I completely got to the end in 10 days. It was incredibly easy, I don't know what you're complaining about. Someone else may take 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 days, and maybe they'll eke out a win or almost a win. And it's not like a roguelike or even like a deck builder where there are ways for you to control things. There are ways for you to manipulate the cards that you get, the strategy you have. There's not even really like a strategy per se in terms of how you play this. Yes, you want to try and expand or get as many rooms filled as you can in order the best possible chance of getting resources. But again, because of the nature of the doors and the placement in the mansion, you're not able to really kind of explore things out. If you get a bunch of one room or dead end rooms, you can't, RNG, you can't manipulate that away. If you're not getting enough keys, then you're done. You don't get enough gems to be able to get the rooms that have the proper doors or the proper clues, you're also done. One of the more annoying things that happened to me was I got the first time a very rare room to drop, and it had its own puzzle. And I spent about 10-15 minutes solving. I felt really good, and I knew that another room that I drafted, again with just pure luck, was going to allow me to connect to it and solve some other great thing. Except it didn't. And the reason why was apparently the rooms that are connected to those rooms affect how they interact with each other. And again, it's just basically chaos. It's RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG on top of RNG. And at that point, it's not really feeling good to play. And the early parts of this game are quite brilliant, as you're still trying to suss out what the rooms do, what are these clues, how are they connected, and start getting more unlocks. But once that goes away, you're just left with randomness to try and move things forward. And I feel like this game needs a bit more control. There are ways of adjusting the rarity of certain rooms and even upgrading rooms, but those are very specific events that can show up. Even just being able to bank an item outside, which again would break the rules of course, would go a long way. Just something that allows a player to eventually get to a win. As I said a few minutes ago, there will be people that they'll get through this very quickly. They'll get all the stars to align perfectly and they'll solve the puzzle or get to the end. Now, they probably won't solve the grand meta puzzles in that respect, but they'll at least be able to say that they've made progress. But for a lot of people, they're going to get stuck. And it's not getting stuck that there's a solution to. You can't get good at RNG. You can't tell the game to just give me rooms that allow me to get to the end. And some of the more frustrating aspects are, again, where you'll get, let's say you need 3 rooms to spawn. You'll get 1 and 3. Maybe you'll get 2 and 3, 1 and 2, 3 and 1. Maybe you'll get all 3 to spawn, but the doors aren't properly aligned so you can't get to them. Maybe you'll get all 3, but there's not enough gems to buy them. Or there's not enough keys. Or you won't even get the items that spawn necessarily to use those rooms, and you're just done. In a way, Blueprints is like trying to solve 5 different puzzles all at the same time, where each day someone just throws a random assortment of jigsaw pieces at you and tell you, go make something of it. When it clicks and everything is working, this is a phenomenal game, and again, just a masterclass in puzzle design. But again, it is entirely up to RNG, and your results will greatly vary as to how much or how little you'll be able to get out of this game, and how much you'll be able to actually make progress in it. And there will be people, I am sure, in the comments saying that you're wrong, or that's just a brilliant game, you're just not understanding it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I understand it or not. If the game doesn't spawn the rooms that I need or enough resources, there's no, wiggle room. There's no mental brain power that allows me to make this game give me more keys or give me more options to get through. And the roguelite elements feel just very bare in that respect. And I would have loved to have seen more randomly strewn about roguelite elements. There are ways of starting with bonus resources. I would have liked to have seen more of that, or more ways of finding the means of upgrading rooms beyond the fixed events. And again, a lot of what we've talked about doesn't even get into the game's extensive post-game mega puzzles. and the layers that go into that. And I'm sure the frustrations that go into that as well. Now, I said this was not going to be a spoiler video, but I do want to at least mention the final set of puzzles, or the big finale of Blueprints. So this is going to be a big old spoiler warning. I'll include a timestamp down below to take you to the end of things. So once you make it to the final room or the antechamber, the game reveals that there's one more set of puzzles to do, and for me, this reminds me a lot of the finale of Portal, where kind of the veneer or the structure of the game goes away in favor of just the kind of final lessons or the final set of tests. And I thought this was a really interesting twist. As another point that I do appreciate now that I made it to the end, is that there are multiple ways of getting there. It's not as simple as just going to one specific point or needing one specific item. And this is a really great twist on the formula. But again, it's kind of betrayed by, once again, how much RNG there is in the main game. Because now that I know there are multiple ways, now it hurts even more when I have, 2/3 of one option, 1/3 of another, but nothing is really clicking. It can also be a little bit frustrating setting things up, because you still have to repeat kind of the setup for the final win condition each run. I hope that gets patched out or made a little bit smoother at some point in the future. So this is a very interesting game to play. It is, again, going to be easily one of the more talked about games of 2025. And despite my misgivings and complaints, if you are a puzzle fan, again, you love like high level puzzle design, then you definitely need to play this one. And there will be, again, people who will shout this game's praises until the end of this year, and there are going to be a lot of people who will hate this game so much. So for those of you watching, where do you fall on that spectrum? Let me know down in the comments. This was played with a press key. If let me tell you, your game does not have to involve puzzles, Zack-likes, or any other combination of critical and logical thinking, please get in touch. And with that, have a great night, and see everyone in the next video. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.